Caught my wife with her boss, but that's not the craziest part. Before we begin the story, make sure to subscribe to our channel and never miss more incredible stories every day. I'm a 32-year-old guy, and I've been with my wife, let's call her Emily, 28, for 7 years. In the beginning, life felt golden. She was my person and I was hers. We clicked on almost everything: sports, shows, movies, the way we looked at social issues. I'll come back to that. Where we like to travel, all of it. For years we were simply happy. Then something shifted. Emily started pulling away, cooler, a little distant. Here's the fuller picture. We'd been together 7 years. The first 5 were exactly what I just described, solid. I felt like I was her whole world, the same way she was mine. We'd go out with friends, and I'd catch her across the room beaming at me while we talked with everyone. If I got sick, she fussed over me. I did the same when she was down. She stood up for me, no questions asked. She was my anchor, my favorite person, my only one. We did everything together. Hiking, camping, long weekends at wildlife parks, catching football games, getting lost in the same hobbies. The spark was real. I never wished for her to be different. The day we met, I remember thinking, wow, she's beautiful. Curly brown hair, a knockout smile, and a kindness that just felt easy. She made me feel important. I never once felt small or unsure around her. Hold that thought. It comes back later. For over 5 years, we were great. The change kicked off when a new supervisor started at Emily's job. I'll call him Brandon, 30. At first, she came home chatting about him. How funny he was. How he lifted everyone's mood. That threw me a bit, because our routine was usually, how was your day? How was mine? And suddenly she opened with Brandon, full stop. I told myself to relax. New face at work, fresh energy after years of the same crowd. Probably nothing. Weeks went by, and Emily got more secretive and further away. She started doing more work nights out. That never bugged me before. We're social, but we had plans to visit a mutual friend who was going through a rough diagnosis. He's Michael, 32, and he's a genuinely good man. Emily's always been the rock, empathetic, steady, so when we heard about Michael, we were all in to go support him. The night came. Emily was running late from a work outing. I called, no answer. Texted, nothing. After waiting too long, I headed to Michael's by myself. We talked through how he was coping. My heart hurt for him. He doesn't deserve any of this. I got home afterward, and I was boiling. Emily still wasn't back. No missed calls, no replies. I went from mad to worried. Accident? So I rang one of her coworkers, Ashley, 28. We get along. I asked if Emily was out with her. Ashley said Emily was out, but Ashley had gone home, and that Emily had been left with just her and Brandon at the end. I was furious. We've known Michael for years, and she skipped being there for him to hang with a guy she just met? I tried to talk myself down. There had to be a reasonable explanation. When Emily finally walked in, I was sitting in the living room staring. What's wrong? Are you okay? She asked. Michael, I said. She froze. I'm sorry. I forgot. I was out with work friends and lost track of time. She looked sincere. She and Michael are close, so maybe she really did forget. I asked, who was out with you? The usual. Ashley, Nicole, and the rest. Not Brandon. Oh yeah, he was there too. Did everybody stay out until the end? Yeah, it was a good night. The next morning I was still angry. I didn't say anything, but Emily had never lied to me before, and she had never let someone down like that. I couldn't understand skipping a sick friend to spend extra time with a brand new supervisor. Over the next few days, she drifted even farther. She came home late. No affection. I told myself it was workload. Then at home, she lived on her phone. Who are you texting all the time? I asked. Just a friend from work. Brandon. No, she said, and then snapped. And what's the problem if it is? I'd never seen her defensive like that. I said, honestly, because you don't stop talking about him. He's been there less than a month and you act like he's a legend. Your face lights up when you bring him up, so much that you forgot Michael. I knew I hit a nerve. I don't idolize Brandon, she said. He's nice, but he's just a friend. And I already apologized to Michael. That didn't settle me. That night, after she fell asleep, I looked at her phone. I'm not proud of it. The messages were intimate. A lot of them. I took pictures of the conversations. Another week rolled by. Same late nights, same cold shoulder. I told a buddy about my worries. and he said I might be reading into things, suggested I try something thoughtful, surprise dinner. It sounded right. I texted Emily to see if she was free after work. She said she was. The messages felt warm for the first time in a while. I cooked, bought a nice bottle of wine, picked up flowers. She came home, saw the table, and looked like she was about to cry. I'm really sorry, she said. A coworker's throwing a surprise birthday tonight, the only night that works. She turned around, grabbed her keys, and left. That was it for me. After months of doubt, I needed the truth. I wish I could tell you I handled it perfectly, but I didn't. I put a tracker in her car. I pretended to work late so she wouldn't see me. She came home, then headed back out. I followed from a distance out of town. She pulled into a secluded corner of a parking lot. Another car slid up beside her. Brandon. She got out and climbed into his car. I filmed it for proof. The next few days she acted normal, like nothing was off. Smiling at breakfast, even holding my hand. She left for work. I had the day off. I checked our laptop and some drawers. Again, not my finest moment. In the bottom drawer, I found an iPad that wasn't mine. No passcode. I opened it. What I saw wrecked me. No texts, but a folder packed with photos of my wife, naked, posing for him. Tons. And videos. I shouldn't have pressed play, but I did. They were graphic. Brandon and Emily together, and she looked like she was enjoying it. There were videos with another woman and with another man, while Brandon was there. The other guy had hateful tattoos, the kind that line up with extremist groups. It made me sick. Emily has always despised that kind of bigotry, so do I. Why him? Why any of this? We'd talked about fantasies over the years, sure. I'd mentioned a threesome, like a lot of guys do, and Emily always said no. She'd never do that or anything that made her uncomfortable. I never pushed. I loved her. So seeing her do things with him, things she shut down with me, cut deep. I copied the files for evidence. I wanted out. I still didn't understand why. Why she shut me down, but said yes to him. Why she'd be with a man who stood for things she hated. I told Michael everything. He's a good friend. He was stunned, angry for me, and said he'd noticed her changing too. I told him I wanted a divorce. He said I had enough to move forward, and that confronting her or Brandon wouldn't change anything. She'd already chosen. You need a fresh start, he said. He's always been anti-bigotry, like me, and he couldn't believe she'd gone near that world. Talking with him helped me feel like I had the wheel again. I'd been afraid of the truth, which is why I didn't push harder when my gut flared earlier. But now, with the photos and videos and texts, I knew exactly what I had to do. I hired a lawyer and filed. Emily kept acting like nothing was wrong. On her phone, out late. I stopped caring. The paperwork took 3 weeks. When it came, I packed my essentials on a day she went to work. I told her I had to go in late to cover a shift. She shrugged. No hug, no kiss. That had faded months ago. I set the divorce papers on the kitchen table, put my wedding ring beside them, and walked out. I moved in with a college friend, Ethan, who lives in another city. I was grateful, and grateful to be far from Emily, that neighborhood, our circle. I told my parents. They were shocked but supportive. I spared them the explicit parts. No need. I felt free. I figured Emily would feel the same since she clearly wanted Brandon. I hoped the divorce would be quick. That night my phone blew up. Calls, texts, Emily. I was surprised. I assumed this is what she wanted. I didn't answer. I read the messages. I'm sorry. I love you. Please, can we talk? Over and over. I blocked her and deleted my social media. I told my lawyer we'd need her signature. She dragged her feet. She emailed instead, apologies, asking to talk. I replied, no, I want the divorce. She wrote back that she didn't want one, that I was the only man she loved, that Brandon meant nothing. Funny thing is, I hadn't told her why I left, but she clearly knew. The guilt was obvious. Seeing her beg was satisfying, if I'm honest. Ethan said I could stay as long as I needed. He also said I'd eventually have to see her, because I left without answers. I didn't want to. She'd shown me zero care for months. Why give her the courtesy? I knew I was being stubborn, but I was also burned and confused that she wanted to reconcile. I expected her to sign and run to him. Instead, she wanted to meet. I have a great therapist, Dr. Carter. I told her everything. The affair, the photos, the videos. I said Emily wanted to meet before signing. Dr. Carter was blunt. You left without telling her why. Part of you wanted her to panic. You keep saying she wouldn't care, but you wanted her to care. Meeting her means giving up a little control. If you do meet, ask the hard questions. You won't like the answers, but you need them. You're stuck because you're scared the last 7 years were a lie. That was 2 days ago. Emily pushed hard to meet, hinted she wouldn't sign without it. I talked to my parents and close friends. My dad said I could force it legally, but it might take months. If talking gets her to sign, it's worth it. Ethan agreed. I decided to meet her, even though my stomach was in knots. How do I handle this? What do I ask? How guarded should I be? Update 1. Sorry this took longer than I planned. Life happened. Thank you to everyone who shared thoughts. I read every single comment and took the advice seriously. A lot has happened. I moved back to our area. Staying with Ethan was great, but I needed to be home eventually. Emily is still in our rental, so I got a small place on the edge of town. I told Emily I was back. She was happy. I told her, no uncertainty. I would not live with her, not even in separate rooms. She tried the "we can be roommates" line. No. I also wouldn't tell her where I live. She tried to find out. We set a time and picked a neutral spot to meet. Near the beach, public but not packed. I wanted it outside, just us. Some of you said, bring a friend, but I didn't feel I needed one. I did decide to record, and I did. Before meeting, I emailed ground rules. Answer every question honestly. No vague lines like, it just happened. I want details. If you walk away before I'm done, reconciliation is off the table. Answer even if it hurts me. Do not be late. In the meantime, I caught up with friends. Word had spread. Hugs and support were everywhere. I wondered how people knew. I'd only told a few, but Emily had told her family and friends, and dominoes fell. Nobody knew the whole story, though, not about the texts, photos, videos. Emily didn't even know I had them. As far as she knew, I left because she spent too much time with Brandon. In her head, husband got mad. I broke it off. I told Dr. Carter about the meeting. She suggested specific questions. You'll see one of them. The day came. I got there early. It was beautiful, sunny, calm, people walking their dogs. Then Emily appeared, dressed up, looking stressed but put together. She went for a hug. I put out an arm. No? She nodded like she got it. We sat. She tried small talk. I shut it down and hit record. Me. When did you first kiss him? Emily. The first week. Friday. Me. When did you first have sex? Emily. Same day. Friday. Me. Where? Emily. His place. Me. Ever in our bed? Emily. Does that matter? Me. Answer like I asked in the email. Emily. Yes. A few times when I was out. Neighbors saw him, but figured he was a coworker. She kept apologizing. I held up my hand. Me. Did you tell him you were married? Emily. Yes. It was all a blur. Then Dr. Carter's question. Me. When you met Brandon, how soon did he start asking about me? Emily. What do you mean? Me. Did he ask about our marriage? How long? If we were happy, that kind of thing. Emily. Pause. Yeah. Early. Why? Me. Doesn't it strike you as odd? You barely knew him, and he was digging into our marriage. Emily. I thought he was just curious. After some smaller questions, I brought up the videos and photos, sideways. I mentioned a recent racist attack at a local shop and asked, you heard about that? She said no. I said, I can't stand racists. Can you? She looked confused. Then it clicked. She knew I'd seen the files. She cried for 5 minutes. Me. Why would you even go near men like that? Emily, red-faced, trying to breathe. It's not what it looks like. Me. What is it supposed to look like? What about this guy made you disrespect your grandfathers who fought in World War II, blow off our friends, and treat me like garbage? She shook, but she answered. He came in as the new boss. Funny, confident, charming, magnetic. A lot of women noticed. When he focused on her, she felt chosen. She admitted it sounds pathetic, but the attention hit like a drug. Compliments, stares across the office. You're the only interesting person here. She ate it up. Other women were jealous. That gave her a rush. The more she got, the more she wanted. Over time, she said, he got specific and darker. He pushed her into things she never wanted. The videos and photos were his idea. She knew his friend's ideology was vile, but she didn't want to challenge Brandon because he'd imply she could be replaced. If you can't make me happy, someone else will. He worked the "do you know how lucky you are" angle. She panicked, went to extremes to keep him happy, and nothing else mattered. I told her I'd seen all of it and asked about the fantasies we'd discussed. She said with me, she felt safe to say no. With him, she was hooked and he reframed everything. Told her I was holding her back, that I didn't respect her, that she deserved more. She admitted she started believing it. That's why she went out more, hit fancier places, bought new clothes, became someone else, and why she treated me with contempt. She said it only broke when she saw the divorce papers and my ring on the table. She ended it with Brandon that day, she said. I told her the worst part wasn't just the cheating. It was that she wanted the affair at the start because he chose her. People crawl out of addictions, she chose not to. She only turned back when I pulled away, because I was her safety net. There's no way you can claim you loved me while making me feel inadequate, I said. She denied trying to, but for 11 months she made me feel like nothing. I gained weight, withdrew, hated myself, while she was out living a second life. No touch, no kindness, just coldness and digs. That's abuse, I said, emotional, mental. She broke down again. I asked, do you love him? No, she said. I hate him. And right now, I hate myself. After hours, she left with the same lines. You're the love of my life, the whole thing. I sat there thinking, could she have been groomed? Conditioned? The timeline made sense. Dr. Carter later said she can't diagnose Brandon, but said he shows classic sociopathic traits. That early marriage question? A tell. She thinks he targeted Emily because she was married and happy, more of a challenge. He didn't just control her, he reached me through her. He flipped her values, got in my head, isolated us from friends and family. If I'd confronted them at that parking lot, she said, Emily probably would have defended him right there. That's how people like him operate. Does part of me feel for Emily as a victim? A bit. Another part doesn't care, because she still chose him. And Brandon had all the surface stuff. Young, fit, money, swagger, the kind of thing that catches attention. Maybe Emily really did end it when I left. Neighbors later told me Brandon kept showing up after I moved out, banging on the door demanding to see her. He acted like an abusive partner. Dr. Carter said guys like that can't handle rejection or losing control. Emily choosing me, even by leaving him, would have blown up his plan. Update 2. I notified HR about the relationship. Turns out other people did too. Word spread. Brandon disappeared from the company shortly after my meeting with Emily. I don't know where he went, and I don't care. Emily also left before they pushed her. People were angry with her, her parents included. She moved in with them and started seeing a psychologist, Dr. O'Connor, which she absolutely needed. I still talk to her family and our mutual friends. Some think I should meet Emily again. I won't. Not to reconcile. She needs to focus on getting well. The divorce is set to finalize in a few weeks. I needed answers from that beach meeting, and I got enough. Do I feel better? Some. Emily owned up to a lot. The pattern makes sense now. She asked about a second chance down the line. I've thought about it, but even if she was manipulated, how would I trust her? I'd feel like runner-up to a ghost. She swears I'm her soulmate. Even hearing that, life wouldn't be the same. Cheating is selfish. It scorches the person who didn't cheat. Most cheaters only own it when they're busted or when they see divorce papers on the table. I don't plan on getting married again. The damage runs deep. I still wrestle with feeling not good enough, even as I've gotten back to the gym and back on the trails with friends. I'm doing what I can to move forward, but yeah, some days I'm just angry. Angry she fell for him so easily. Angry he chose my wife. I kept my job and moved to the outskirts of town. I'm not running across the country. My friends and work community have my back. If I moved far away, it would feel like they won. My therapist keeps telling me healing takes time. Update 3. It's been a while, thanks to everyone who checked in. Life got busy. 2 clarifications. Some folks said my story sounded fake because I didn't consider the texts proof at first. My friend said digital flirting might be nothing. I clung to that because I didn't want to face reality. I asked for advice about meeting Emily because I wanted validation. I'd already met her. I needed to know if I handled it right. After the beach, my head was a mess. Emily kept trying to talk. I stayed in therapy. She started private therapy with Dr. O'Connor, paid by her parents. I bumped into her parents while hiking a shallow creek. I worried they'd been fed lies. They hadn't. Her mom hugged me. Her dad shook my hand. They apologized. I told them they had nothing to be sorry for. We sat on a bench. Her mom said Emily had committed to therapy. They explained what they saw those months. Emily turned cruel with them too, blew off the art group she loved with her mom, snapped at them, swore, called things pathetic. They assumed our marriage was struggling, not that there was an affair. After I left, Emily confessed everything to them. The affair, Brandon's pressure, the whole thing. Her dad lit into her so hard, she had a panic attack. It didn't make sense to them. This wasn't their daughter. That tied back to Dr. Carter's take, sociopathic grooming. I asked the difference, psychopath versus sociopath, because I honestly didn't know. She said psychopaths mirror others to fit in. Sociopaths reshape the person next to them, molding them into something uglier. Brandon pushed Emily to disrespect her parents, engineered the videos with people who share hateful beliefs, and kept demanding proof that she was hurting me and cutting off family. A few weeks later, Emily's mom asked if I'd join a session with Dr. O'Connor. I wrestled with that. I'd said Emily would sign after we met, but agreed. After a handful of sessions, Dr. O'Connor told me and Emily's mom, in that soft Irish lilt, "Your daughter is dealing with PTSD." The relationship was abusive, grooming, and controlling from the start. I snapped back that Emily still chose him in week 1. Emily's mom gave me the let her finish look. Dr. O'Connor said Brandon showed up as a perfect figure, the kind we all carry in our head, and then conditioned Emily until she started believing he was the only truth, which is why she mentally abused me at home. None of that excused her choices, but it explained the pattern. Time passed. I kept a ritual, visiting Michael's grave. He passed not long after all this started. At the funeral, I watched Emily fall apart. She and Michael had known each other since they were kids. Michael forgave her before he died. At his grave, I usually sit in silence, until one day Emily sat beside me and cried. I wanted to stay cold, but it wasn't the day for that. It was about Michael. For the first time in a long time, I hugged her. We kept going to therapy, me with Dr. Carter, Emily with Dr. O'Connor. We grabbed coffee sometimes. No romance, just two people talking like humans again. One afternoon by the lake, Emily handed me a small box, a custom crest of my family name. "Happy anniversary," she said. Then a photo album. Us with Michael, with our families, back when we were happy. She said, "This isn't a trick to win you back. I know what matters to you, so it matters to me." She told me she loved me and always had. She left with that same soft smile I used to love. I didn't know how to feel, but I smiled, too. We took a slow walk on the beach another day, fish and chips, sea breeze, small talk. Dr. O'Connor told me, "Brandon is not part of this anymore. Your wife removed him from her life. She wants reconciliation because of you, not him." After months with her, I believe he won't be a threat again. You wouldn't be here if you didn't still care. The question is whether you do what feels right, or let him keep winning in your head. Dr. Carter had said the same. I'd been carrying 11 months of pain like a boulder, but time had shaved it down. As we finished our food, I did something I hadn't done in forever. I reached for Emily's hand. She cried. I stopped and looked at her, and for the first time in a long time, I saw my wife, not the cold stranger from those months. I hugged her. Update 4. I've gotten a lot of kind messages and, honestly, some nasty ones. Internet's the internet. Some people wished awful things on us because I chose reconciliation. I'm not typing their exact words. To those who offered thoughtful pushback or support, thank you. Quick status. We're in reconciliation counseling, not because Emily demanded it, but because it's the right next step. She's nearing the end of her individual therapy, just doing closing sessions. About Brandon, I'd said he vanished after the affair blew up. Later I learned he reached out while Emily was trying to make things right with me. Before anyone jumps on that, hear me out. He kept calling from unknown numbers, showed up at the house, tried FaceTime, everything. Emily blocked him everywhere. It went quiet for a while. Then one day he rang from a different number while Emily was with her mom, her sister Laura, and a couple of her mom's friends. Emily put him on speaker, per Dr. O'Connor's advice, so there were witnesses and support. He pushed to meet. Emily agreed. For closure she controlled, not romance. She chose Riverside Park, broad daylight, lots of people. She also wanted someone close by. He knows me, so I couldn't be there. But he didn't know her friend Brianna or Brianna's boyfriend Tyler, a big, athletic guy. They sat on the next bench. Emily recorded the conversation. I won't drag you through every line, but here are the beats. Brandon opened with small talk. Emily cut it off. "What do you want?" "I want you to explain yourself," he said. Explain what? After everything I did for you, you abandoned us. I didn't love you, she said. I never did. I'm ashamed I blew up my life for you. Stop being dramatic. I gave you a life your husband never could. Did he treat you well? No one did, she said, except me. He laughed, called her childish. She told him he'd been obsessed with tearing down her husband and family from the start. He told her they were all wrong for her. He was right. She said the gifts and fancy weekends were just bait, that he got off on hearing how much she'd hurt me, and he demanded reports about what she said to me. He called me pathetic again. He pitched getting back together. She laughed. You're a bully and a coward. I'm disgusted I ever got involved with you. Threaten me with the videos if you want. I've punished myself more than you ever could. This is your last warning. Contact me again, and I'm calling the police. She stood to leave. Brandon reached out, and Tyler stepped between them. Brandon backed off and walked away. That was the end of him. Emily and her mom didn't tell me right away. They didn't want to derail us. When I heard it later, plus from Brianna and Tyler, I understood. Both therapists said Emily needed to take her control back in real time. That meeting was part of it. People ask, what if another Brandon shows up? I've asked myself that 100 times. Here's where I landed. I'm choosing this because I believe our marriage is worth saving. It is a risk. I accept that. But I love her, and for the first time in a long time, I'm happy again. We're doing the stuff we used to love. We're rebuilding with both our families. It's a journey, not a flip of a switch. Another common question, does Emily fully own what she did? Yes. She doesn't shift blame. She says he manipulated her, and she let it happen. She feels guilt and shame and keeps doing the work. Will she ever do it again? I don't believe so. The fallout nearly destroyed her. She took responsibility to me and to our families, and that ownership is the only reason reconciliation is even possible. Reddit culture leans scorched earth. Sometimes that's the right call. I get it. But at some point you decide, stay or go. I chose to stay, not because I'm a doormat, but because I refuse to let that year define all 7. If I'd walked just to spite a ghost, then yeah, Brandon would have won the game he thought he was playing. I'm not doing this for him. I'm doing it for me.